everyone. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Get started here momentarily. I asked for a new podium for Christmas that fits all of our things out here. Okay, so thanks for coming, everyone, and again, happy holidays. This will be my final community briefing of 2024. Excited about what's to come in 2025. Want to acknowledge my colleagues that are here with me that you'll be hearing from, Deputy Mayor Sharon Owens, as well as a new guest to these briefings for today, Merike Treier, Executive Director of the Downtown Committee. Thank you, Merike, for being here. Again, you'll hear from both of them shortly. Just go over the agenda real quick. As we always do, we'll provide a health update that we received from Dr. Anderson at the County Health Department. We'll go over the latest public safety COMPSTAT numbers. Give a quick update on visionzero, which we'll talk more about. Trash and recycling, always a hot topic for these briefings. Deputy Mayor is going to talk about permitting progress amidst a lot of investment that we're seeing and anticipate seeing going forward. Quick update on Syracuse Build, our construction workforce development program. Got some fun holiday themed updates, one related to our winter photo contest. We're hearing from Merike about some of the things going on around downtown in the holidays. We'll talk about some things going on in our parks during the holidays. And then we'll finish with State of the City 2025 update, which is right around the corner. So let's start with winter health. I think we can all agree, just anecdotally, there's a lot going around out there. Flu season is here. Cases are increasing rapidly. I encourage people, if you haven't already, to get your flu shot. I got mine. COVID is still around, as we know, and again, want to encourage folks to get their COVID shots as well. A couple that we're not as used to seeing, but are definitely on the rise this year, whooping cough is one, and walking pneumonia is another. Again, I can say anecdotally, I've heard of a lot of, particularly young people, but not just young people, getting walking pneumonia, and so that is not typical, and both of those are up this year, so something to keep an eye out for. Just going back to the vaccines for a minute, typically both for flu and COVID, vaccines really go into effect about 2 weeks after you get them. Think about where we are now, where Christmas and Hanukkah and the New Year is coming. Now is really the time, if you haven't gotten them, if you want to give yourself that extra layer of protection going into the holidays, now would be a good time to get those shots, and you can get them at the same time. 2 different shots, but I was able to get both the same day and was happy to do so. So please be conscious of the health risks out there and take the appropriate measures. Shifting to public safety and COMPSTAT, this is one of our final of our weekly reports. I look very closely at these every week. I want to remind folks that they are always updated. As soon as I get it from SPD, it's uploaded to the website, so you can just go on syr.gov, type in COMPSTAT, and pull up the report. As it's been most of this year, it's a bit of a mixed bag, although some encouraging trends both on violent crime and property crime. We'll start with violent. Importantly, violent crime year over year is down 7.1%, and compared to the 5-year average, 7.5%. That's very encouraging. Of course, there's always work to be done, but we are encouraged by those numbers. Looking at the homicide number, 22 people, which is the same as last year. 1 homicide is too many. The only positive aspect of that statistic is that 21 of those 22 murders have been solved by SPD. We are so incredibly proud and grateful to our SPD team that is really good at solving crimes, and specifically homicide. So that's a 95% closure rate, just 1 outstanding of the 22. So shout out to our homicide squad, the CID, and everybody at SPD for the good work that they're doing. I'm going to dig in a little bit more into violent crime on the next slide, but I want to talk about property crime, which again has really been our Achilles heel this year and continues to be in this report. As you can see, 8.6% over where we were last year in property crime, and a whopping 34.4% compared to the 5-year average. As we've talked about in previous briefings, that's largely being driven by stolen vehicles. It's been a topic of much discussion and debate throughout the community, something that we're spending a lot of time on with our other partners at the county, at the state, in the courts, and looking to make improvements there. Again, the glimmer of hope there is that when you look at the trend lines, the property crime numbers have been coming down since the beginning of the year. So just to give you a little historical perspective, just in August, property crime was up 15%, again, compared to 8.6 right now, so nearly half, or more than half. In October, it was down at 10.7%, so again, now we're at 8.6%. In June, stolen vehicles were up 60%, compared to that number right now is 14.3%. So we have started to see a decline in those numbers, and importantly in those stolen vehicles, which have just been, have wreaked havoc on our community. So we're going to continue to work hard to keep those numbers driving downward. I mentioned I wanted to just touch on a little bit more on violent crime, specifically gun crime, which has been the subject of a lot of attention and investment from the city as well as our partners. And some really encouraging numbers. Again, one homicide, one gun crime is one too many. But when you look at gun homicides, really all of these numbers jump out at you. Overall shots fired down 27%, but the number down in the bottom right corner, shooting victims injured or dead, are down 41%. So that is a really encouraging number as the result of a lot of good work, certainly from the Syracuse Police Department, as well as our team at the Mayor's Office to Reduce Gun Violence and our many other community partners. It's a community effort. I say that all the time. We can't do it alone. SPD can't do it alone. But we can see when we're working together, when we make the appropriate investments and partner with our public sector partners, the county, the state, federal government, we can have a positive impact on those numbers. So I have been speaking with leadership at SPD as we close out the year. My message is continue to make progress on violent crime, and we got to get those property crime numbers down. And again, it appears right now they're headed in the right direction. Shifting gears to Vision Zero, also very much a safety issue. Vision Zero is all about the goal to reduce traffic fatalities to zero. It's an ambitious goal. It's part of a road-wide strategy, an initiative that we've adopted here in the city of Syracuse. We have begun drafting our Vision Zero plan, which will dictate what specific measures we take to achieve that goal. We've already taken a number of them, just to remind folks, things like speed humps, for example, to help slow traffic, our school zone speeding cameras and red light cameras, which we're going to be rolling out in 2025. Those are all aspects of it. Our municipal sidewalk program, making sure that pedestrians, which is a big portion of our population, have safe, accessible sidewalks to use. So we've been doing the work. This Vision Zero plan is really going to help focus the work on priority initiatives, but also priority locations. And on that note, I just want to encourage people to log onto our website. If you just go to syr.gov/visionzero, we have an interactive survey map. So we all have our own anecdotes from our own commute routes. I know where some of my highest priority areas are, but we know them because we drive them, we experience them, we walk them. We want your subject matter expertise in this area. You can go onto the map and you can actually identify, show us this intersection is a problem, and here's what the problem is, and help guide us in where we want to focus our resources to address it. So we encourage people to log on and participate in the survey map. We're going to gather feedback from residents through January 2025, so you have more than a month, about a month and a half, to get on there and share your comments, so please do. Next up, trash and recycling. This is another cool feature we have on our website that I wanted to flag for folks. With our new recycling collection, we are now doing bi-weekly recycling collection. We have our new larger carts, and so we are able to move to a bi-weekly system. It's been, I want to give a big shout out to certainly our sanitation staff who have really been great partners in rolling out this big change, but also our residents. We're all creatures of habit, and we get used to things working a certain way, and then we change it, and it's disruptive. I think the fact that we did trash first really helped all of us learn how to manage these changes better, and so recycling has been really smooth. One of the challenges for all of us, including me, and I'll fill you in on the way I remember my recycling week, is just remembering which week. Are you an A week or a B week? I'm a B week, which is helpful because my name is Ben, and so I think B for Ben, and that's what works for me. Not everyone may have the weeks be the same letter that their name starts with. So for those folks, we have a feature on our website where you can go on syr.gov/trash -recycling. It's right on the screen there, where it is live. You go on there and it will say this is an A week, or this is a B week, and then you can also make sure you know where which week you are by looking at the map. So it's all right on the website. We encourage folks to check it and also think about maybe a good mental reminder for you. But again, overall, it's gone really smoothly, and I can't overstate the amount of feedback that I've received both from residents and from staff about the reduction in litter. I said throughout this program something that was being overlooked was this was the single most significant thing that we could do in the city of Syracuse to reduce litter, and it's doing just that. We have our environmental services crew out every day litter picking, and they were the first ones to say that this has made a significant difference. Of course, it hasn't eliminated it. We're still out there every day picking up litter, but it's reduced it significantly. And on top of that, of course, as we've always talked about, our worker injuries are also down significantly. So this has been a big win. I want to thank our residents, thank our workers, also thank the common council who worked with us throughout this process. And we're going to continue to tweak it and make sure it's working as best it can. Specific to recycling, there is one, and actually trash for that matter. I did want to flag a recent incident that was really troubling and could have been much worse. So about a week ago, we had a fire in our recycling tipper, and it was because somebody improperly disposed of a battery. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The fire department showed up. Shout out to our firefighters as well as our DPW workers who handled the situation really professionally and safely. We're able to put out the fire, no injuries, no harm to the vehicle, but it was the result of somebody not following the rules and thoughtlessly and carelessly putting a battery in their recycling. It's critical that people are disposing of all of their trash and recycling in the appropriate way, but especially our batteries, which oftentimes contain toxic materials, and as evidenced by this incident, can cause fires. So you can, when in doubt, go to the Okra website, okra.org/household-batteries to find information on how to properly dispose of batteries. Again, I'll give you my personal anecdote. I do it at Wegmans. There are other places to do it. You can see some of them listed on here, other grocery stores as well, Green Hills, Civic Center, right downtown, you can do it, and some other examples. So please, it's not just about being environmentally conscious, it's about safety. So please heed the warning and follow the rules. We've got more for you, but I'm going to take a minute and hand it over to my partner, Deputy Mayor Sharon Owens. Something that we are both very passionate about is the permitting process in the city of Syracuse. We talk a lot about growth, a lot about investment. We need to make sure our processes are prepared to accommodate that growth and that investment, and permitting is one where we would be the first ones to acknowledge, as well as our permitting office, that there's work to do and that we need to get more efficient and faster on it, especially as we see accelerated growth. We've made a lot of improvements in that area over the past 7 years, but arguably the most recent has been the most significant. So I'm going to turn to the Deputy Mayor to talk more about that.
Thank you, Mayor. So our central permit office handles between 4,000 and 5,000 permits each year. At any given point, our permit team will have about 100 permits in the queue being reviewed by our staff. And over the few years, we've averaged about 210 commercial building permits, and that's more than 1 day for reviewers for them. Each one takes between multiple hours or multiple days to review. And so we determined that we needed to take another look at that process because of many time constraints when it comes to building projects and the review process that we have. And we've heard from many of those who are out there, from the homeowner to the largest developer, say, how can we expedite this process? And so the permit office, in response to this, Jake Dishaw, the Deputy Commissioner of Code Enforcement, and zoning, and I put our heads together, and in response to that, we brought on 2 engineering firms that had the professional credentials to work to supplement the work that we do in-house to review these and send those out to those firms. We've just committed an RFP process that will bring on 5 or 6 new companies that will continue to outsource that work, so we can turn around those review times, those initial review times that are critical to the process. So we've already assigned 30 plus of these commercial building permits to third-party reviewers, and this change in our way we're permitting is absolutely having results, and it is working. We're reducing the time needed for these reviews to averaging about 10 days in each review, and this is absolutely faster than our internal staff could get to each permit that we get. And again, it is averaging about 210 commercial permits annually. And so this change in what we're doing has really taken results. We like what we're seeing. We like the trends that we're seeing. We're hearing good feedback from those who are seeking these commercial permits. And so we are looking, as we go into the next year and next budget season, to look to expand this even more so that we can even exponentially increase this outsourcing of this work. These individuals in the community that do these reviews have credentials to be able to sign off on these permits and get the final approval from our office. But it is speeding up the process, and that is what we've heard, while still maintaining the quality and adhering to the building code. And so based on what we see, we're going to continue to look how we can expand that even further. This work that we're doing, it results in billions of dollars of economic development in our community to create a community that gives us a potential for growth economically. We're very proud of this, we're excited about this, and we're going to continue to push the pedal down on this way that we do business for development in the city. That said, development in the city is growing. We can see it, we can touch it, and we can feel it. So with that said, I cannot go further without talking about the poverty numbers that we just received. And so in those poverty numbers, we see again, we are at the top of a national list for cities 100 residents or fewer. It is a list that pains us to see ourselves on. And while we are at the top of that list, we have been seeing incremental reductions in poverty. It is not nearly enough. Just as we talk about one homicide is one too many, one person living in poverty is unacceptable. And so here we are again at the top of a list that none of us collectively as a community want to be at the top of. We're a very proud community, very hopeful for who we are, but we have to find paths that will help all of us, particularly those of us living in poverty. Poverty is a financial definition. You're in poverty, living in poverty, based on what you earn, what your household income is. While everything we see is a residual effect of that financial condition, the ability for people to be able to pay their mortgage or their rent, the ability for people to be able to afford groceries, the ability for individuals to be able to find themselves in a situation where they're able to support their family. And make no mistake, while there are individuals who are not in the workforce, the majority of the people who are living in poverty work, but are not having enough earning power. So what role does it is a collective. Many times we want the quick fix. There is no quick fix to this. And so many people say, well, city, what can you do? What the city can do is generate job creation. Encourage businesses into our community that can hire our local residents. For those who are not in the workforce, prepare them to enter into the workforce through workforce initiatives. City is leaning completely into this. Mayor is going to talk about Syracuse Bill, everything going on with Micron. I sit on multiple workforce boards that are preparing our community for the jobs of the future. Poverty ends when we increase the income and the revenue of households. That's the bottom line here. Until that happens, that will create more income that increases the amount of income households have. Now, what we see on the street are the ramifications of poverty, homelessness, the number of families living in shelters. We have got to work to increase the ability for people to earn an income. And for people who are not in the, as I said, not in the workforce, to get in the workforce. For people who are in the workforce, but need to work 3 jobs to sustain themselves and their families, giving them higher paying jobs. How is that done? By increasing skill sets, making connections with employers in our community. This is a fight. Poverty is a financial definition, but it operates like a living, breathing organism that's a virus. And that virus manifests itself in housing stability, it manifests itself in the inability of people to feed their families, it manifests itself in ways that we see all over this community. But the root of it is financial. And so we are going to continue to strive to address that. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thanks again, Deputy Mayor. It's not coincidental the way in which we're talking about this, connecting the investments that we're making in permitting to accommodate additional investment and development in the community. It's investments in job creation, it's investments in housing. Deputy Mayor mentioned homelessness. We know we've seen increases in homelessness. We need more quality housing. We need to be able to build it as quickly as possible. We are making unprecedented investments in it. There are more houses under construction in this city right now than in decades. So part of the strategy is making the city more conducive to those types of investments. As the Deputy Mayor said, it's also about helping provide the skills to people that they need to be employable and to be able to increase their income and their earning power. And so we're going to talk about that. Two more things I want to say specific to the recent child poverty numbers. The Deputy Mayor said, unacceptable. That's the word. We cannot accept this. We do not accept it. And for the past 7 years that we've been in these positions, we have worked every day to try to change that trajectory. As the Deputy Mayor alluded to, we have seen incremental progress, downward progress in terms of the overall poverty rate and specifically child poverty rate. We haven't seen it at the same rate as other communities, but these conditions didn't happen overnight. We have families living in generational poverty. So the seeds that we're planting and the investments that we're making are intended to certainly address the conditions today, but will also assist us in addressing the conditions of tomorrow and for years to come. So as I mentioned, and the Deputy Mayor mentioned, part of it is making sure that people have the skills necessary to access the jobs that are being created. Syracuse Build is our program specifically focused on getting people into the construction trades. I'll tie one more thread together, the permitting challenge that we have. We have great permitting staff, and they work really hard every day. And what we're doing with our contracting out the work, we're not taking any work away from city workers. We're just accelerating the process and trying to keep up with the investment. But we need more city workers. The Pathways to Apprenticeship program is really intended to get people into the construction trades. However, the skills that they learn in that program could just as easily be applied to going into our permitting office and learning how to be a plan reviewer. There are a lot of different ways that the individuals that participate in this program can apply their skills, not just in the trades, although that's really where our focus is, because the trade, when you get into a trade, it's not about getting a job, it's about getting a career. And there are many opportunities to do that right now. So our Pathways to Apprenticeship, which is our signature program in Syracuse Build, is recruiting for its 8th cohort. Over the first 7 cohorts, we've graduated 106 individuals. As of October 2024, we've had an exceptional placement rate of those individuals, again, both in the trades and also in other employment opportunities. So for those that might be interested, It's an 11-week program. It's paid. We understand that we can't ask somebody who's struggling to make ends meet to just take 11 weeks off and forego any income that they're generating. It will require some sacrifices and some adjusting of schedules, but we do pay participants. Eligible participants need to be City of Syracuse residents, 18 and older. You have to have a high school diploma or a GED, and you have to apply in order to get into the next cohort by January 20th. So if you're interested, check out our website, syr.gov/SyracuseBuild. Again, it's been a transformational program. We want more participants. We've grown the number of participants per cohort. We want to continue to do that because, again, we really need to accelerate and scale our programs to meet the moment. But we're really proud of our work and anxious to get more folks in here. All right, on a lighter note, let's talk about winter and the holidays. We live in Syracuse. We have winters. Recent years maybe not as significant as others, but as I look out the window, there's snow on the ground right now, and there likely will be for the next few months. So let's enjoy it, let's embrace it. One of the ways that we're trying to do that is through our winter photo contest. We have some amazing, certainly professional photographers in this community, but also amateur photographers. Heck, with our phones, we're all amateur photographers, aren't we? We want to see people's pictures. We are looking for opportunities not only to celebrate winter, but also to use those photos for our own purposes, social media platforms, on our website. And so we have the Winter Scenery in Syracuse photo contest. Just a few details for those that might be interested. Photos must be from 2023 and 2024 in the winter. That's just to make sure that we're not rehashing photos that have been around for a long time. We want fresh new photos. The deadline for submittal is on Sunday, December 15th, so it's coming right up. Whether you're going to go out and take some new photos, oh, we got some snow on the ground, or you took some last week when there was snow on the ground, you got to get them in by Sunday, December 15th. You can go to our website. Specifically, it's go2.syr.gov/photo series. I would just mention to the drone photographers that you have to be a licensed drone photographer, or a licensed drone operator, I should say, with a Part 107 certification. You can't just throw a drone up in the sky. There are rules, and we want to make sure people follow the rules. But other than that, we just want to see your photos and see all the beautiful images that we have in this community in this time of year. Speaking of this time of year, as I mentioned, a lot of holiday activities going around. I was downtown on Saturday, down at the Clinton Square ice rink, and it was a beautiful scene. The snow was coming down. A horse-drawn carriage trotted by, and so to tell you about those and other opportunities, I'm going to invite up our partner and our friend Merike, Treier, Executive Director of the Downtown Committee.
So as Mayor mentioned, downtown Syracuse is alive and festive with the holiday spirit with the tree lit in Clinton Square. The decorations lining all of our streets, the windows, storefronts of our businesses all decked out, holiday cheer. And so we're hoping that people will experience downtown Syracuse for the holidays and make their season memorable. So many people have connections to the center of our city. Many people remember the days when all the department stores were downtown and the window displays were lit up. Festive for the holidays. They would come down here with their families and explore and experience what downtown Syracuse had to offer. We've brought that tradition back, and we're currently now in our 8th year of our Window Wonderland Walk and Decorating Contest. This is a contest where we have nearly 40 businesses that have decked out their storefront displays, not only to delight shoppers and visitors when they come through downtown during the holiday season, but also hopefully pique their interest to see what's on the other side of those doors for some holiday shopping. The community is invited to vote for their favorite displays. All the windows have QR codes, and so the public can partake in voting for their favorite window display, and the winning businesses and designs each get a prize courtesy of our Downtown Syracuse Foundation. The mayor had mentioned some of the holiday experiences downtown, and as I was walking earlier today, I mentioned to the deputy mayor, Clinton Square was full of ice skaters. The tree was lit up, you had the music playing, beautiful snow falling. So it really felt like that idyllic winter scene in downtown Syracuse. And the daily ice skating in Clinton Square is such a tremendous draw to bring people into downtown Syracuse. One of the items we're especially thankful for is, for the second year now, Becca Ewald, who is the owner of LM Social in Armory Square, she has brought back horse and carriage rides that go throughout Armory Square, throughout Clinton Square, and allow the public to experience downtown Syracuse from a different point of view. This was really popular, sold out last year, and this is something that is offered through Saturday the 21st of December. The Everson Festival of Trees and Lights is also a family tradition, so we find that people, again, come down here to relive these family traditions, but also make new memories. And so the Festival of Trees and Light at the Everson is always a popular draw. For the kids in the audience, the Most is hosting their Arctic pajama parties each Saturday. So a really fun memory to start building with your family, bring them in and experience not only the museum, but some of that holiday spirit as well. And then one of our family's personal favorites is the Gingerbread Gallery is back at the Erie Canal Museum. This is on display through January 12th of this year. As far as entertainment, again, downtown has so many opportunities to offer for visitors coming into the area. The Lion King is a family favorite running through the 12th at the Landmark Theater. The Sound of Music, produced by some of our local artistic talent, is on display at the Red House. Home for the Holidays by the Syracuse Orchestra is playing on December 21st at Kraus-Heinz Theater. And Disney on Ice starts up at the War Memorial on December 26th. We also know, besides these different experiences and traditions you can build as a family, we want people to come into downtown Syracuse for shopping. Most of the businesses throughout downtown are locally owned, and so when you're shopping downtown, you're supporting your local businesses, you're supporting your neighbors, you're helping us to build a vibrant downtown Syracuse. So in downtown, one of the things we're really proud of is that you can buy quality products and get great customer service from our downtown business owners. We're also encouraging folks to take a night out. Many of us are hosting a lot of family for the holidays with all the cooking you're probably doing at home. Make sure you stop in at one of our downtown restaurants and treat yourself and take a night off for cooking. We've had a couple of funny exchanges as well throughout our community. Many times, again, the holidays are a time for people to come together over different traditions. Cookie swaps are always a popular item. We've had several folks tell us that they've been stopping in at our downtown bakeries to get cookies from there. Pass them off as your own. No one would ever know that they were not homemade because, again, they're locally made and delicious displays. So all this information we put available on our website at downtownsyracuse.com. We also put this out on our social media channels with our handles being Downtown Syracuse. We truly hope, again, that people will take advantage of all the different activities offered in the center of our city and make this a memorable season. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Merike. Merike mentioned that decades ago, the old pictures of Salina Street with the department stores, and those department stores are obviously gone, but as Merike points out, we have so many amazing businesses, from restaurants to clothing retailers, bookstore. We do have a lot of amenities. And in terms of the image of the packed streets, just last week I was going down Salina Street, and in the entire block, 300 block, half of the block was full from people going into the Lion King. So even today, we're still packing folks onto the streets, and it really is a magical time to be downtown. But we want to not only be down there to enjoy the scenery and the sights, but to support our local businesses that are making a conscious decision to do business downtown in the city, and we want to reward them for their investment in us. Before we leave the holidays, I also just wanted to mention some of the things that we're doing in parks. We talked about Clinton Square. Just want to remind folks again that the ice rink is open in Clinton Square. The hours are 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. during the week and on Sunday. Fridays we keep the rink open until 8:30. Also on Saturdays open until 8:30, and we open a little bit earlier too at 10 a.m. So please come down to Clinton Square. If you have the kids with you and you're looking for a little something special, we have special skates with both Santa as well as Clinton the Penguin, who frequents Clinton Square Ice Rink. So Santa skates are happening this Saturday, and then again on the 21st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So come down, throw on the skates. You can rent the skates from us and skate with Santa. Not something many other communities can brag about. And again, I can't imagine there are any other communities where Clinton the Penguin is skating as well. But we have Clinton the Penguin down there on Sundays, on this Sunday as well as Sunday the 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Finally, as you can see in the image here, holiday hay rides. Merike mentioned LM Social Downtown doing horse-drawn carriage rides, which is just awesome. We're also offering them in Burnett Park coming up this weekend, also the following weekend. So you have to pre-register for the hay rides. I've done them with my family, again, on a nice winter night with the snow falling. It really does feel magical with the, we also do holiday decoration lights up at Burnett Park. So this weekend or next weekend, pre-register on our website. This is our park site, so it's syracuse.recdesk.com. And make sure you pre-register. I think we only have a handful of spots left. And of course, you can learn more about these and other winter activities on our website, which is syr.gov/winter. Okay, last thing. Next time, well, hopefully you'll see me before then. Probably won't see me with a beard. But we have our State of the City coming up, and it's my last State of the City, which is wild to think about. So this will be my 8th and final State of the City. I'm going to be delivering it on Thursday, January 16th at 5:30 p.m. at Grant Middle School up on the north side. With the location on the north side, it will have completed my State of the Cities in each of the 4 quadrants of the city. So I'm really excited to close it out on the north side, talk about some of the north side specific efforts that are underway, but also it's a great time to reflect on our accomplishments over the past year and talk about what's going to happen in the next year. People keep talking about me not being mayor anymore. I've got another year, and I'm not going to slow down. I've got a lot of work that I want to do, and so I'm really looking forward to talking about it at the State of the City. So we encourage folks to be there. You can also tune in. We stream it online, and WCNY Public Television carries it live as well. With that, we threw a lot at you, as we usually do. If you have the time, we do for questions.
Yeah, just on that note, not to make you give any spoilers, but what are some of those priorities that you mentioned going into your last years there?
I think the priorities are consistent with what we've been working on over the past 7 years. We're going to talk a lot about housing. Again, we have unprecedented housing investments happening. I was speaking with a group on the south side today, and they were remarking on the number of new homes going up, whether it's along South State, Woodland, and Garfield, Beard, Midland. If you drive around the south side, it's pretty shocking the number of new homes that are going up through our Partnership headquarters, Housing Visions. We're going to do more of that. We're doubling down on housing. Economic investments, again, that both in the form of larger scale rental housing projects, and we have a number of those in the pipeline, as well as business development opportunities too. As usual, we're also going to talk about neighborhoods, infrastructure, again, all the things that we've been working on over the past 7 years. So we'll have, and we don't usually bring too much news in the State of the City, but we'll probably have a few special announcements. But really, more than anything, it's just an opportunity to remind folks of everything that we've done over the past year and what we plan on focusing on going into the new year. Scott?
Going back to the poverty numbers,
Yeah.
3 upstate cities are in the top 10.
Yeah.
So what does that say about, I don't know, the state and
Yeah.
maybe its role in this too, because it's not obviously not just Syracuse.
Yeah, well, it says that, as the deputy mayor alluded to, this is a community challenge, and it requires every level of the public sector, local, state, federal, and the private sector. Everybody needs to work on this. And yeah, it is, what it says specifically about New York State, I don't know, but when you look, and it's not just New York State, you look, it is primarily older northeastern post-industrial cities that have, again, faced decades of economic trauma and disinvestment, and it manifests itself in many ways, but probably none more significant than poverty. So, it is frustrating, but I think it just gives us more resolve that we need to keep going, and we need to scale and accelerate. I believe strongly that we're making investments in the right places. You mentioned the other cities. I do plan to reach out. I saw Rochester had a pretty significant improvement over the past year. I'm going to talk to Mayor Owens, see if there's anything I can glean from that. I said from the beginning, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. If there's another community that's out there doing something better than us or different than us, we want to learn from it. And so we're going to look to do that. But again, the investments, the strategies that we have in place, they're data-driven. A lot of them were really born out of a deep dive we did on the census back in 2018, when we, again, found ourselves on some of the the wrong lists. So again, I'm confident we're doing the right things, but there is a sense of urgency that we all need to maintain, and we also need to push ourselves to scale and accelerate our efforts to meet the urgent moment for the many families in the city that are living in poverty. As I said before, one word, it's unacceptable. Yeah.
Was it surprising seeing Syracuse at the top of the list, being #1 in comparison to the other cities?
Sadly, no. Syracuse has been near or at the top of most lists relative to poverty, whether it be specific to child poverty, for many years now. And again, often accompanied by the same communities. So whether we're 1 or 2 or even in the top 5 or 10, it doesn't matter. All of these communities that are on that list have a significant problem, and so I live in the city. My kids go to city schools. I travel throughout the city in every neighborhood. It's evident everywhere you go, and again, it's really driven much of the work that we've done over the past 7 years. So it was not surprising, but again, it's unacceptable, and we're gonna continue to make the investments where they're needed.
What are schools doing to help this problem?
Yeah, schools are in many ways a safety net for our kids and our families that are living in poverty. You think about the fact that the vast majority of Syracuse City School District students are eligible for free meals, and because of that, the district just offers free meals for all of its students. So oftentimes the school is the one consistent place where kids can get a good meal. They are a resource for parents and families. The school district, and I talk about often when discussions come up around school performance and test scores, these things are inextricably connected. Again, if you line up test scores for school districts next to poverty rates for school districts, there's almost a direct correlation. So our school district, more than any other one, not only faces the challenge of providing a basic education to our kids, but faces the challenge of helping our kids overcome the many barriers that they face just to get through the door, whether it's their own barriers or their family's barriers. That's why I am so inspired when I see our kids in our schools, because what they have to overcome just to get in that door, let alone be successful, and so many of our kids are, is inspiring and motivating and makes me really proud. But the district understands, and we understand, that in order to provide that safety net for our kids, the kids have to be in school. And so the district, to their credit, in working with the city, our county, and state partners, has really made a concerted effort and an enhanced effort to focus on absenteeism and get our kids, more kids in school. The numbers so far through this academic year are promising. They're improving, but there's a lot of work still to be done there. But again, we cannot have this conversation without acknowledging, whether it's about school attendance or school performance, the many barriers that kids face in order to just walk through the door. But again, we know if we can get them through that door, we can help them in a lot of other ways.
I wanted to ask you about the accusations against Judge Pitts-Davis. Do you think she should resign, and what do you want the local LGBTQ community to hear from you?
Well, I'll start with the second question first. I want the local LGBTQ+ community to know that I support them wholeheartedly. I stand with them. I share in their frustration and in their anger and disappointment. I've worked really hard over the past 7 years to be an administration that is fully engaged with the LGBTQ+ community. I established an advisory board specifically to address issues in the community. And it's unacceptable, and more than that, it's against the law. Judges can't discriminate who they perform marriages for. And so ultimately, in terms of what the appropriate outcome is, there's a process for that. It appears to be going through the process through the state commission. I think that's important. I think it's important that that process goes quickly to give the community peace of mind that the appropriate accountability is in place. And so I'm going to wait and see what comes out of that. But it's unacceptable to me, and again, it's against the law.
Question about the former Vincent and Skyline properties. Where do things stand with renovations, and, you know, are you pleased with progress or not?
I always want to see things happen faster. And I've told that to the new owners of those properties. The good news is we are communicating regularly with them. I was on a call with them within the past month or so. But yeah, I'm as anxious as anyone to get those properties back online and back into productive use, especially when we talk about the challenges of homelessness. These properties, some of them were that safety net for homeless individuals. And while I think it's important that we strike the right balance in terms of the types of units and who's in there to make sure we don't run into the same challenges we did before, which largely it was more about management than who was in there. But it's important that you get the right balance there. So we've talked about that. They are making investments. They acquired a number of properties. The Skyline and the Vincent are the biggest, but they're not the only ones. And so they've really focused on getting some of their smaller properties back online first. They are doing work at the Skyline and Vincent right now. I don't have a clear sense of how soon they're going to open. So yeah, I'm anxious to see it done as quickly as possible. But they're communicating and work